Hi, as we promised, we'll be having a chat at 9:30 p.m. and it's now 9:30. And today we want to talk about self-identity. First, I'm Dr. Zippy Okoth. Everybody knows me as Zippy Okoth. And I'm a lecturer of theatre arts and film at Kenyatta University. I'm also a performing artist, actress, director, writer, and now I'm an author of a new book, Oops Zippy. And I'm also the I'm also the top judge for Miss President. Yeah. So, what is self-identity? That's a question that I am asked a lot of times. Sometimes when I go to forums, everybody asks me, so who are you? And you find the moderator saying, oh, this is Dr. Zippy Okoth, and she is this and that. She's a lecturer, she's an actress, she's a gender consultant, she has many titles, she's a jury. But basically, when I look back, I ask myself, who am I? When you talk about self-identity, a lot of people wonder, what is self-identity? Is it self-esteem? Because that's what most common people commonly know about it. People only know more about self-esteem, but how do you build self-esteem? The first thing you need to have is to be aware of your self-identity. Yeah, because when you are aware of your self-identity, then you are able to know about your weaknesses, your strength, and you're able to know about who you exactly are. Hi Austin, hi Christine, Vigilance, karibuni. Winnie Samson, hi. Betty, hi. Christine, Buya, karibuni, tuongee. Matito, Muhugu, Ojiambo, Ainea. I'm learning, this is the first time I'm doing a vlog, so with all the hitches that it may come with, every day is a learning process. So, when you talk about self-identity, we are referring to the permanent things about ourselves that we cannot change. When you look at yourself, how do you assess yourself? What are the things that you value about yourself, that you think about yourself and you want to put right, and even the ones that about your past? Say, what is your character? For example, Zippy. In my personality, I am generally a jovial person. I get angry fast and I forget issues also the same way very fast. I'm very ambitious. I am also very determined. People will call me a go-getter. Those are my personality traits that are very prominent about me in my circles, things that I know about myself that I use to my advantage. But when you talk about self-identity, we look at generally personalities, that's one of them. We look also at skills and abilities. When I look at my self-identity as Zippy, what are my skills and abilities? I can act, I can direct in terms of performing arts. Another thing, I'm very good at evaluation and mobilization of people. And those are things that, despite the training, I'm also very good at it in my own nature. I find it very easy to mobilize people, to bring people together. I'm also very good at observing people and kind of being able to analyze them and be able to approach them, and sometimes also to be able to identify problems. And so that one is kind of like my inner abilities that some people might not be able to see. But being somebody who's very social and going to other places and meeting people and interacting easily with people, it comes very easy when you meet more people. It's easier for you to observe people and to be able to interact with them. Yes, some people try so hard to be who they are not, or to be like others. What's your advice to them? Yes, a lot of people try to be like others. I think it's because of social media. So many times we want to be like those icons that we see on TV, like the people who are like our mentors, people who we grew up admiring. And even for people who've already made it, there's always still that person you want to be. But even when we try to be like others, do not lose yourself. And that's why we want to have this topic, because it's very important that even as you go through your journey into finding yourself, into trying to be a better person and trying to be like a mentor whom you really believe in or a role model, you do not lose the person who you truly are. And this can be dictated by your personal background and even your family background, where you grew up, where you went to school. And that brings us to the third one: occupation. How does occupation help in your self-identity? And that relates a lot to me. My occupation brings in my self-identity because I have so many things that I do, but when people meet me, they are not able even to tell which one am I doing, because people relate to me in the space in which they have met me in. If people meet me in a conference, perhaps I'm talking about health issues, they'll look at me and they think, oh, okay, maybe she's a therapist. If they meet me in education circles, they'll know I'm a lecturer. If they meet me in performing arts circles, they'll say I'm a performing artist. But who really is Zippy Okoth? I am the occupation that I lead every day. And sometimes I don't want to be dictated by being told that I'm only a lecturer, because I teach what I love, and that is drama and theater arts. And so I practice it again. So most times I say I'm a practicing academia, because in that way it's able to encompass a lot of things that I do every day. Yes, mwango karibuni. CJ Lumemba karibuni. Yeah, so you find that it is very easy for you to be something else that people want to imagine that you're not. But if you put it in your mind that this is what I am, then you're able to channel your energies towards that. A lot of people, when they meet me the very first time, they say I'm an academia. And yes, I am an academia, but I'm a practicing academia, because a lot of my works are not just in academics. A lot of my works are in the outside world, where I mentor, yes, I practice, I do theater arts, I do gender consultancy, I reach out to communities, I do community work on the ground. And that is the other part that people don't know about me, because what they see is on the limelight when they see I have a play. But what do I do when I'm not having a production coming up? That is the other part that they don't know me. So when you are trying to analyze yourself, it is very important that you separate what people think about you and what you know about yourself, because there's a very thin line on that. So a lot of times your mind can be clouded with what people think about you, and then you find yourself losing your dreams because you want to follow the path where others want you to lead. And in that search for that self-actualization, you end up finding yourself 5 years later, you have lost the dream that you really initially wanted to be. Say, for example, when you were growing up in high school, a lot of people had different dreams. There are people who just wanted to be, perhaps, let me say teachers, since I'm a teacher. But in between, they were told, oh, teachers don't earn much. Teaching profession is very difficult, so you don't need to do that. And in all this scuffle, they went on and became what? Lawyers. Or they went and studied nursing. Then you find these people are not happy in their place of work, because that is not where they felt their calling was. They went into those careers because the society and even their family perhaps made them feel that that is where they needed to be. Or perhaps another reason that people change their dreams, because they're told that one does not have money. This is the one that has money. Nowadays, in my little hustles in Nairobi, I have come to the realization that there's no career path that has more money than the other. In everything that you choose, you have to decide to make it work. Even in teaching, if you decide to put all your energy in teaching, you'll do it. If you go into, let me say, those who become accountants, if you put your energy into accounts, you'll make it. If you go into engineering, you'll make it there. If you go into agriculture, that is also a place you'll make it. A lot of our youth shun agriculture, and that is one place where if you really put your heart into it, if you love farming, then you can really reap a lot of results from it. But then people are told, oh, if you do agriculture, you will never be empowered, huko hakuna pesa, you will always look dirty. But then, right now, agriculture has changed. It is not just about you having the hoe. It's about you, yes, having the hoe, but then now we have got more technology coming up. You can use tractors, you can use many technological ways to ensure that you are having your produce in time and in the best way that you can. Yes, Joy Azedi, I see you. Mwango, I see you too. Yeah, so what exactly is your passion? Mulama Anthony, I see you. Johnson, I see you. Yes, take notes, take notes. So what exactly is your passion? You really have to follow that dream. It is not about where there's a job. When I was growing up, I was told that hakutakuwa na kazi in drama. But after leaving the hustles, whatever else are there, some of my friends also studied, you realize the first 2 years after campus or college, it's called in Kenya, it is the job hunt. It's like averagely everybody has to job hunt for like 2 years. And during that time, you might lose your self-identity because you might ask yourself, why did I study this? Then you find all graduates going to become what? Salespeople, bank account, some of them become bank cashiers and bank sales and insurance salespeople, because that is the easiest job that you can find. Because most of them, they ask you, can you sell? Okay, fine. Then you're given the documents to go and sell. But it is that persistence in your dream that has to keep you there. If you study whatever you dreamt of, let me say even nursing, and you are not interested in seeing blood, then you definitely will not be able to give your best in it. So you'll be looking for the nearest escape out. So when you choose your dreams, is your occupation part of your identity? Is it a dream that you had? Yeah, it is almost impossible to say that in a country like ours, somebody can just have one tight dream. But even in your path, even as you grew up, there are perhaps 3 careers that you admired. Are you working in that line of career, or is this something else? Another way to look at your self-identity is through talents and abilities. A lot of us have different talents, and not just people in performing arts. There are people in different areas of their lives who have got talents. Some people just have talents of listening. Let me tell you, most good counselors are very good listeners. Not just good in advice, are very good listeners. You find that in the current age and in our circles and walks of life, we have got very few listeners. That's why I think a lot of people are getting depressed, because there's no one to listen. Everybody wants to share and talk and talk and talk, but who is there to listen so that at least somebody can be able to get an opinion and even to share their problem? And so you find that when we have these different talents, how are we able to use them, and how are we able to bring them to life in our adult life? Say, apart from football and theater arts, what other talents do you think we have? We have got people who are good at cooking. We have people who are very good at welcoming visitors, like entertaining visitors. Like, I'm really good at entertaining visitors. I think I can entertain visitors up to midnight and not get tired of it. But then that one is a talent that can be turned into something what? Into something else, because it means if you are good with people, if you tolerate being around people, then it means that you can turn that into being a what? An event manager. You can turn that kind of talent or hobby in being a counselor. You can turn that event or hobby into being an operations manager in an institution or so. So where are your talents and hobbies, and how can you use that as an adult? You need to analyze yourself. What are those things about your life or about your personality or about your interests that you can be able to turn into money as you grow up? And so these are the things that we really need to look into, because in this current life, people look at self-identity purely as occupation. But occupation only does not make you who you are. After the 8 hours of work, and for some after the 5 hours, who are you? Because when you leave the office, then who do you become? Yes, you're a mother. What type of a mother are you? You are a friend. What type of friend are you? What else do you do in your spare time? Is your life just after jam, work, jam, home? What else do you do? What do you dream about? What do you aspire to be? So when we think about self-identity, we are thinking about things that makes you who you are right now, and things that you dream about in your future life. Things that make you who you are can either be things that you have learned, or they are things that you have practiced over time so that they have become part of you. Like what? Maybe you like walking. That is who you are. You like outdoors. Some of us love exercising indoors. Some of us love exercising outdoors. So if you're an outdoor person, if you love animals, that is who you are. Some of us cannot tolerate animals. Some of us just love flowers. And that one is just you. You cannot start forcing yourself to start liking animals if you can't tolerate animals. Because people are born different and our nerves can tolerate different things. So who exactly are you? When you analyze your life, when you self-assess yourself, what is the first things that you can write about who exactly you are? When you think about your personality, what are the 3 things you can write about your personality? When you think about your skills and abilities, what is it that you can do best without being pushed, without being coerced? What is your occupation? That is, what is your everyday life like? What do you do on a day-to-day basis? And then what are your talents and hobbies? Things that you have loved doing ever since you were a kid, and right now you are growing up. Do you think you can be able to bring them into your current life? And then the other most important one is your physical attributes. These might not seem very important to a lot of people. Rapodonyar Matunga, yes, I have to keep your hopes high. It's never too late. Yes, it's never too late. Adonija, identity crisis. Let me write that down. Yes, Teresa, I didn't want to be a teacher, but now my mother laughs and says, even if I didn't want to be a teacher, I have ended up being a teacher. But then I tell her, I am teaching what I love. I'm teaching theater arts. Yes. So let me finish this last part before I get into the questions and answers. The other part is the physical attributes. The way we are built is different. Generally, people have got, like, I think 3 types of frames. We have got people of this who have small frames. We have got people with medium frames, and we have got people with big frames. Like I always tell myself, I am a person with big frames, and this is not just about being big, it in body, it in no. Hapana, we're talking about bone structure. So with your physical ability, what can you do? You know, there are things that you would expect, like the men who are bouncers. You cannot expect a tiny man to become a bouncer. So what is it, that identity, that makes him feel like that? He feels that he can protect people. He feels that he's secure. He feels that he can do that kind of job because of his what? His physical attributes. Also, there are people who have got big eyes. And when you have big eyes, most times people will easily either approach you easily or fear approaching you, because it depends on what is the tone that you're looking at them in. So what are those physical attributes that you have? Do you have physical attributes that make you look like you're a warm person, or do you have physical attributes that make you look like you just want your space? So these are things that you really need to assess. How does that help you in your daily career, in your relating to other people? Does it intimidate people, or does it make people feel warm towards you? I always tell people, it does not matter how you look physically. You have to make it possible for you to be able to do what? To be approachable. Because in this life, you cannot exist as an island. But despite that, which is normally said, you also have to find a way that makes it easier for people to relate with you. If you are standing on the roadside and a child wanted to ask for the direction, will they approach you? If they can't approach you, then just know that it is harder even for an adult to approach you, because perhaps it's the way you look at people. It is the kind of face that you have. What is your resting face? Like when you are not doing anything, when you're not smiling or crying or angry, what is your resting face? Is it approachable? Does it look warm? Does it look like somebody can be able to seek help from you? And that is something that any person should be able to look at, because when you go into a new space, let's say you get an employment in a new environment, how do you interact with people there? People will easily interact with you depending on how you look, how you also interact with them. So what kind of warmth are you bringing into the spaces? We don't mean that every day you have to be happy. There are days that people just wake up and you are tired and you are grumpy. Like some people, I think from maybe from the time they wake up to 10 a.m., there's no talking. You just have to tolerate and let them have their space. And then there are people who, ikifika afternoon, they don't want to talk much because their energy has really gone down. So you have to find out, what kind of person are you? Are you a person who has got high energy levels, or are you a person who has got low energy levels? Are you a morning person, or are you an evening person? What kind of person are you? Yeah. So when you look at your physical attributes, how do they help you in going about your daily life? How do they help you in finding your self-identity? Do you take advantage of your physical attributes? Do you take advantage of your occupation? Do you take advantage of your talents and hobbies and personality and skills to be able to make the best out of your life. We still go back, who are you? So when you look at those 5 things, then you can be able to analyze yourself and find who exactly are you. You find that a lot of people, whoever they were, whoever they believe they were, has been interfered with because of the social stigma and things that they have gone through in their lives. You find, let me say, I went through domestic abuse, and it really interfered with my self-esteem. Some of the things or the person I really was changed because I was trying to please somebody else. Like we said, do not try to please somebody else, because eventually you will still be searching for your own self. So a lot of things changed. I stopped interacting with people, yet I love people. I stopped hosting people, yet I love hosting people. I stopped performing, yet I love performing. I had to stop all these things to be able to please somebody. However, in that way, I lost my own self-identity in trying to pick somebody else's self-identity to be mine. And you realize that in the process, after losing myself, then the other person also lost me, because he could not see the person whom I was initially. So in losing my self-identity, and everything else crumbled. So when you look at yourself, where did you lose it? Is it a stigma that caused you to lose your self-identity? Is it a stigma that made you to be able to forget who you are, or to fear being who you ever wanted to be? Sometimes also it's also about our family backgrounds. You really want to be something, but everybody around you, your family, your friends, really put you down. They tell you, oh, you can't be that. Oh, hiyo ni kazi ya watu bure. Ati talent gani? Football ni kitu ya watu kufanya serious. You know, personality, wewe unacheka sana. You cannot be laughing too much. There was a day I was in a bus. I think that was around 2016. I was in a bus. And then there was this child who was really laughing around, looking around the windows and really laughing. And then the father was here slapping the child every time. Stop laughing, you can't be laughing throughout. So I told the father, let the child be happy. So the child looked at me, so she was smiling, and then whenever the father looks at her, she tries to constrain the laughter. You see, that is suppressing somebody's personality from coming out. Even most of our men are raised and told, do not cry, men should not cry. And they suppress that emotion, being able to feel. Because crying is something that you cannot hold on. When you hold it in, you are holding a lot of fears and sadness and all that. And our men are brought up to believe that you should not cry. You should not show emotions. And that is why we are having men who do not know how to show emotions even in adulthood. Because ever since they were kids, they were told, do not show emotions. So, what is your self-identity once? Who are you really? Are you a man who is emotional and does not mind shedding a tear? Shed it. Are you a woman who is aggressive, who wants to have their voice being heard? Say it, speak it. What is so hard is most times people are scared of what will people think. Oh, that woman is too aggressive. Oh, that woman is standing up there and she's speaking when men are supposed to be speaking, like especially our female politicians. I think they go through a lot of suppression. Whenever they say anything, they are the ones who have to be done what? They have to be criticized. But when the fellow counterparts, the men, say the same things, then they are not criticized as much, because the society believes that these men should be women should be suppressed, women should be quiet, women should be at home. But a time has come when women must lead. So we're talking about self-identity. Someone here is asking, what is identity crisis? Adonija, would you mind talking about identity crisis? Identity crisis, in my view, is when you try so much to be somebody else, yet the passion in you or your character is also trying so hard to come out. So you are torn between being what people want you to be and being what you really aspire to be. And in that mix, you end up losing yourself, because down the lane, you find that you do not know who you really are. And that's the time somebody asks you, what kind of person are you? I'm an introvert and an extrovert. Because you are an introvert, but people have made you believe that you are an extrovert because you smile a lot, you talk a lot. You cannot be two. There's no introvert, extrovert. you have to choose, who are you? Do you like talking or do you like your quiet corner? If you're in between, it is okay. Those are normal people who are in between. But now on the extremes, it is also fine. So you have to find your balance, not trying to satisfy other people's needs and also trying to satisfy your needs. Joy said, what would you tell those people who are in abusive marriages, relationships, yet they don't want to walk away because of fear of public perceptions? Joy, the only thing I can tell somebody is, when you are ready, leave. Follow your gut instincts. It's never easy to walk out of an abusive relationship, just like people think. It's never easy. I walked out of one, but it was after a lot of struggle, and even after walking out of one, it was not easy. I can never tell somebody to leave when they are not ready, because when you leave when you're not ready, you will definitely go back. And when you go back to a place that was not good for you, then you're going to die, like what we see on TV. But sometimes it's good to assess, is it worth walking out of, or is it worth staying in? Because it is never easy to walk out. That's one thing I can always tell you. It's never easy out there. The wilderness is not that beautiful. It's too cold out there. And Nancy Obonyo, kindly address the issue of low self-esteem and how to go about it when it affects your studies or work. Low self-esteem is brought about by a lot of things, and one of them is the topic we are looking at today, the issue of self-identity. When you think about self-identity, there are two things that are very important before you analyze yourself. What are your boundaries? As a person, what boundaries do you put for yourself and what boundaries do you put for others? Say, for instance, on things like alcohol. If you have put your boundary like, I cannot take more than 2 glasses of wine, that is your boundary. Then what boundary do you put for the others? That after 2 glasses of wine, you'll have to go. There are people also who have put boundaries on things like what? Hugging. So what are your personal boundaries? Do you allow yourself to hug people or not? Do you allow yourself to go for sleepovers or not? What are your boundaries? And now when you're talking about self-esteem, you have to find out, is your self-esteem caused by your opinion of others, in that you want to be so much like them that you are not able to appreciate yourself? Or is it caused by the others trying to undermine you? Because sometimes your self-esteem is caused by your own perceptions of yourself, your own perceptions of what life should be. While sometimes it is caused by what other people are telling you. Some people can put you down, keep telling you, oh, Zippy, you have shaggy hair. Oh, Zippy, you have a Luo accent. Oh, Zippy, you're a PhD, but your hair is white and dyed and all that kind of stuff. Those are things that if you put at heart can really cause your self-esteem. Say, for instance, I think the issue of my Luo accent, I tell people, why the Britons come to Africa and they never change the accent to sound African. Why should we change ours to sound so British? And then if you watch Ugandan TV, they speak in their Ugandan accent. It's only Kenyans who are always trying to be like others. So is your self-esteem caused by what you think that others feel you should be, or is it caused by others suppressing you? If it is caused by you trying to be like others, it is just important for you to have a very strong self-identity. However, if it is caused by people trying to suppress you, people trying to point out the things about you, like, telling you you have thin legs, you have big eyes and stuff like that, then I always just say, change your friends. Because if you are surrounded by people who are always bashing you and telling you the wrong things that reduce your self-esteem, that reduce your confidence, then change your friends. Those are not friends. Friends are supposed to pull each other. They're supposed to help build your confidence. And if it is something that they feel that they can help you with, then they will help you with. Let's say if it is dressing, they'll help you on how to make your fashion better, on how to make your style better. A true friend will be able to pull you up and to be able to tell you how to dress, how to talk. Zippy, I think if you made this proposal like this, then it could be better. Those are now friends, not friends who bash you. If your friends are bashing you, change your friends. So if it is affecting your studies or work, then you need to change your friends. There was a time, I think that was early last year, I met a student of mine. I'd just come from giving a talk at WIPO. WIPO is World Intellectual Property Day. And this student approached me. She was my former student. I had almost even forgotten her name. And she told me, Zippy, I want to tell you something. I saw you today and I've really struggled with this. And so I told her, okay, I want to listen. She told me, there's a time that I came to your office and you were just about to leave, but you gave me an audience. And in that moment, I was wondering what she wanted to say. So she said that she came and she told me that her friends had been telling her that she had lost so much weight and now she was not looking good. And out of the blues, I just told her, my dear, I think you need to change your friends. If your friends tell you that you are not looking good when you're thin, then change them. Because the other time when you are putting on, you are big again, they also told you that you are too big. So she said, after I left the office, she went, and from there on, she just decided she cannot take it. When she changed her friends, her life moved on. And later on, one of those friends came and apologized to her and told her she was very sorry for having told her all those painful things. But the reason why she came to tell me is that from that moment, she realized a sense of actualization, a sense of fulfillment, that she cannot be shaped, her opinions and her thoughts about herself cannot be shaped by what others say about her. Because this is something that happens to a lot of us. Every day we get criticized for every slight thing. It does not matter what happens to you. People will always find a reason to criticize you, even for your dress, whether it is beautiful or it will always be too bright or too dark or too baggy or too tight. So when it is coming from strangers, it is okay. But if it is coming from friends, then it is not okay. Yes, John Bokashare, Jesus also. Yes, we praise Jesus. Ni Mungu ndiye ametuleta penye tuko hapa. Aha. So when you think about your self-esteem, what exactly do you think about? Liz, you are asking, you must first identify who are you. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. You first have to know who exactly are you. Without even listening to what other people are saying, you have to identify who are you. Yes. Linda Jackson, hi. Aneni Kate. Enel ni wapi? Zusta kadogo. New Zealand ama ni wapi? So ask me anything that you think I can answer, and I'll be able to share with you. As a teacher, sometimes the issue of self-identity comes a lot, especially for teachers of performing arts like us, because a lot of our students come wanting to be like other people, and we cannot blame them. In this world, you must have a role model or an icon, somebody you look up to. But then you realize that some people want so much to be exactly like somebody else. It is one thing to want to be, let me say, like Zippy, to be like a lecturer. But it is another thing to want to walk and talk and be like Zippy, because that way you're losing your self-identity. So as much as we want to be like other people, where is your self-identity? Tisa, why are you lying? Let women vie for this seats, not seeking nomination. That's it. I agree with you. Hapo sijadanganya. Let them vie for these seats. A time is coming, I'm telling you. Siku, these women are going to get those seats. They are going to get those seats without being nominated. You are going to vote them in because you can see what the men are doing for us. Barbara, abusive men or women are very manipulative. They make it look like you the problem. Of course, a lot of times after everything has happened, they have to be like, you see, you are the one who made me do this. And that happens a lot. But let that not interfere with your self-esteem. One thing I'd like to tell young girls is before you get married, know who you are. Because if you do not know who you are before you get married, then you are not going to get lost in the marriage. And then before you know it, you're told that two shall become one. And then you'll be taking, you'll just be having one as one. Because your self-identity is not existing in this marriage. So who exactly are you? You have to find out who exactly you are. I see you get through, Derek, Ismail. Yes, Oyugi Okoth, self-esteem is yours to build. However, we must be able to understand that some people's self-esteem was crushed because of incidences that happened in their lives. Like, let's say some people were abused when they were young, or some people went through rape, or also some people were just bullied in high school. There are people who are bullied in high school, and up to the moment we are talking, let me say even 20 years later, they've never been able to get back their self-esteem. That's why things like bullying in school need to be done away with. Some people are bullied because of simple things, like maybe they come from the village and maybe their school is in an urban center. Some people are bullied because they came from poor families and perhaps their shoes were not from Bata, maybe their shoes were Mtumba. And those are things that really live with people for a long time. So yes, self-esteem is something that you have to build, but we also need to be very aware of the fact that self-esteem of other people can be crushed by others. And so how do we help other people to build their self-esteem? But today we are talking about self-identity. How do you realize your self-identity? Even as a young girl, as parents right now, how can we build our children's self-identity? One, you must be the first person to tell your children that you love them. Don't be shy telling your children, I love you, mommy, I love you, Toto, because let the world not be the first to tell them they are loved. Let them know. Let them hear those words from you, that you love them, that you acknowledge them, so that it builds their self-identity. They know I am the daughter of so and so. And wherever we are blessed with this. It is not about being blessed with money. We are blessed with the gift of laughter. We are left with the gift of generosity. We are blessed with kindness. Our whole home is warm. You know, there are things that we can be very proud of even without money. Like you are blessed with good hair, you're blessed with good teeth, you're blessed with good eyes. Appreciate your children from a tender age. That way they know themselves. And nowadays a lot of people don't even want to talk about their shags. Like, who is their grandfather? Do your children know who their grandfather is? Whether they are alive or dead, do they know who their grandfather is? When you see a child is showing interest in something, are you able to help them in that? If you find that your child is very clean, like so clean, are you telling the child like, ai, wewe ni mtoto aina gani, hata yani kuchafuka kidogo tu hivi watoto wanacheza huko kwa vumbi? My dear, let that child be clean, because perhaps they'll be the most hygienic people in this world and they will help with health issues. So if you have to bash your child for anything, let you not be the first to bash them. And if you have to correct them, find a gentle way to correct them. Of course, we are Africans. There are things that we cane our children about, but then there are also things that we can correct without caning. But most importantly is to learn to appreciate the little milestones that they have, whatever they're doing. How do you encourage them? If they finish the homework on time, encourage them. Just tell them, good mommy, congratulations, clap for them. It doesn't have to be a token, because giving children also tokens too much might spoil them. They might end up growing thinking that everything they do must be paid for. So sometimes you just need to acknowledge them and tell them thank you, or you've done well, congratulations. Those words of appreciation are things that they need to learn at home. Keeping their things clean and knowing that they have their privacy, that they can be able to close the door while doing something, that they can be able to decide that this afternoon I want to sleep, or I want to do what, or I want to play. And then also having rules in the house, like saying, okay, kids must be in bed at 8, then they must be in bed at 8 just because simply mom says so. And these are things that if we nurture our children that way, then it will be easier for them to find their own self-identity and to be confident with life. Yes, Corazon, you cannot change the size of your legs or boobs anyway, so you better just love them. In Luo we say girigiri, yours is yours. So you just have to learn to have them. Wahome Kanini, 100% of the accent. I can't stand people who laugh at people's pronunciation. The fact that a person has mother tongue influence in their pronunciation means that they speak more than one language. Which is a huge achievement. Most Guzungus can only speak English, so as Africans, we ought to be super proud of our languages. Yes, I'm really very proud that I can speak, is it 3 languages? Yes, Shiku, thank you too. Joy, yes, that's why I always say that even if you act like Jesus Christ, people or the society will find something negative to say about you, whether behind your back or just on your face. The best thing is to be you, please yourself, because we only have one life and one death. True, Joy. Always appreciate yourself first. Be you, be proud of who you are, but they don't try to be like somebody else. If there are things that you like about somebody else, yes, you can emulate them. If there are things you don't like about yourself and you can change them, then fine. But you see, things that you can change definitely are not your parts of your self-identity. Those are just habits formed. So those things that you are not able to change because that's how God created you, those are the things that we say you need to appreciate them. Yes, people who bully most of the time are always going through a tough time. Yes, true. Yes, you find that a lot of bullies were also bullied or are also going through a lot of depression. And unfortunately, you find that in the primary or high schools that we have, there is rarely a designated counselor for children. It is always assumed that the teachers who teach, who are on duty, are the same ones who will counsel. And sometimes it's very hard for the teachers to focus all this and identify all these problems in the children. I think it will be good if maybe there was a counselor in every school, because if you look at the issues people are facing right now, there's a lot of mental health issues. There's a lot of depression amongst our children because of peer influence, peer pressure, and generally I think just what goes on online, because quite a number of children also have phones. I mean, as parents we give them phones, but some parents do not do parental control on the phones. So you find that children already are exposed to too much on TV, on phones and all that. And so when they face these challenges, whether it is issues of friendship, girl-boy relationships, or abuse, drug abuse, peer abuse, and violence, they do not know how to go about it. And when we expect the teachers to be the ones to handle this, then it becomes very hard for the teachers to identify. Say in a school of 1,000 students and 50 teachers, that means every teacher should be able to handle like 20 children. Handling 20 children in a class and handling them emotionally and psychologically is not a very easy task. So maybe if we had at least a counselor in school, just like we have the school nurse, wouldn't it be easy? Because what we are facing currently in our institutions is not the same as what used to be there. Yes, Liz, it's not always about the money. The thank yous mean a lot. Yeah, actually, historical injustices like bullying work a lot against self-esteem all the way to adulthood. Let's build in our young ones. My daughter leaves the house. My daughter leaves the house knowing that she looks good, neat, loved, and no one should make her feel otherwise. The best gift besides the ability to pray is to build their confidence. Wonderful insights there. Yes, you must be the first person to tell your children they are smart, they are beautiful, and all. Sharon Biane. Okay. Mani luongo Sharon. Luong Sharon Roreta. Giri, yes. David Oyange, we are talking about self-identity, knowing who you really are. Knowing who you really are. Yes. Yeah, yes, Liz. Sibling bullying is also very real, especially those who come from very big families. But sometimes even where they are only two kids, you'll find that one is bullying the other, because especially the younger ones. I don't know why the younger ones are always bullying the older ones. But I think sibling bullying is also quite prominent. And as parents, we need to be very keen about this and to be able to put a stop to it the moment it starts. Because if we let it aggravate, you'll find that children are growing up and they are distancing themselves. And you wonder, my daughter has never liked my son. And you wonder why. It's because as a parent, you never stopped this bullying. And so one always felt that you favored them over the other. Yes. Yes, Juma Brenda, I see you, girl. I see you in your county. So, I don't know whether it's time. We said that we will finish at 10. Now, how do I check the time? Oh, it is 10. So, I just like to say that in finding yourself, you need to be aware of a few things. Look back and find out the things that you loved ever since you were a kid. Self-identity is about those things that cannot change in your life. Those things that are what makes you who you are. That people should not interfere with. You need to have what? You need to have your boundaries, and you are free also to have your worldview and opinions about things, because that is what makes you who you are. So remember your personality, your skills and abilities, your occupation, your talents and hobbies, and your physical attributes. Those are the 5 major things that give you your self-identity. So nurture them, have boundaries about them. If you tell people that ukichoka umechoka, if you tell people that you like keeping time and they don't like keeping time, that is you. There are people who never know how to keep time. So if you have that friend who never knows how to keep time, when you want to meet them at 10, just tell them you're meeting at 9. So that, because I mean, maybe you love them for a lot of things and that is the only weakness. So sometimes it's also good to understand, even if you're setting all these boundaries. But also have your world opinions, because in this world, everything is shaped by what others think, and your opinion matters in shaping this world. Okay, so guys, it's 10. Actually, I can see it's 10:15. I wanted to have only 30 minutes, and so we'll have another topic next week on Tuesday at 9:30 to 10. We'll talk about self-esteem, because after self-identity, what else are we building? We are building our self-esteem so as to be able to grow into our full potential. You can only be a great leader when you have your self-identity and your self-esteem in check. And this is for everybody from a younger age. See you, Winnie Ojanga. Bye. Tina. Let me just read this one. I try my best to be open with my son. I want to be his best friend by encouraging him, correcting him when he's wrong, and loving him. Little things like thank you, please, excuse me have become part of us. He knows his best. Very important. Yes, let us encourage our children so that they can start building their self-identity at a very young age. David Oyange, do you think that kids grow with a lower esteem in Africa than in first world countries? I don't think so. I don't think so. I grew up with a very high self-esteem because I think it's about parents and the society. There are a lot of kids, even in Western and first world countries, that are not having a very high self-esteem, and that is why you'll find there are more young peer issues even in the developed countries than in Africa. I think Africans have got a great self-esteem. We have so much, but in the current state of things, parents are becoming very busy, I included. And what I'd just like to say is maybe we need to create more time with our children. Like saying Sunday is family day, no matter what, unless otherwise should you be away from the children. So things like that, ensuring that at least each day you spend 1 hour uninterrupted with them. It's the small things. I think children need time more than gifts. And that way they will be able to ask you questions, get your opinions, grow knowing somebody loves them, and grow knowing people listen, and having their questions answered is very important. Let the world not answer your children's questions for you. Be the first to answer, even issues on sexuality, drug abuse and all. Be the first to answer them. Adong, girl, I need that book of yours. No problem. Adong, in your inbox. Okay, bye-bye, guys. This was my very first vlog, Facebook Live. I've never gone live. I have really struggled with it, I think, since I said last year I would. January, February, I kept saying I would, but then I said it's better to try and fail. You have to make that very first step. And see you on Tuesday. I hope not to stop. Keep your self-identity in check. Bye-bye.